Hello, this is Steph with the Two Ps podcast, where two very different people compare and contrast their top fives on a variety of topics. Okay, so this episode focuses on our top 5 favorite vacations. So we include conversations about the show we're currently watching, stories about our vacations, and we even have a couple that were the same, which triggered some arguments. And also, Alex guesses my number one pretty fast, but I'll let you listen to find out when. All right, see you soon. Hi, welcome to the Two Ps podcast. I'm Steph.
You slowed down there. I'm Alex. It's Steph.
Well, it's an introduction.
He almost pulled like a baseball announcer.
I was
Steph.
trying to be like radio host.
It's pretty good.
Kind of.
As this podcast has gone on, I think you've gotten better and better at just the radio personality voice.
Thank you.
I love your radio voice.
Thanks.
Hey, so I know you just brought it up at the top of the hour, but what are we talking about this week? What's our top 5s this week?
At the top of the hour.
Top of the hour.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. Tip your hat.
Oh my gosh.
Tip your waitresses and waiters.
Our topic today is top 5 favorite vacations.
Yeah. Pretty exciting.
And we just argued about it.
Yes, we did just argue about it, and she's like, if we're going to argue, we got to hit record now, because this could be good content.
Yeah, it could. Well, because he said, so our topic is top 5 favorite vacations or vacation stories. And I said, well, no, not stories, because I didn't rank mine by stories. I ranked mine by vacations.
And you said by experiences.
Well, first I said vacations, and then you said, well, I did mine by same thing, by stories of the vacation. I said, well, that's not, the stories are different than that vacation. I did mine by experience.
The stories come from the experiences.
No, I mean,
they do.
That's true, but I'm talking about overall experience and not just like a certain specific story from that vacation.
Then I think you pulled one little part out of what I was saying, because it's also the location too. It's all encompassing. Which is why I picked these places.
It's also the location. You mean experience?
Oh my gosh. All right, let's just get going here.
So we may have ranked our list a little differently.
No, we didn't.
But it's fine.
We're saying the same thing, but I just...
Okay, well,
saying different things, but we mean the same thing.
Well, I'm not on the same page, but it's okay.
Well, we'll leave it there. Top 5 vacations. So this is a crowd-suggested show. This particular topic was suggested by our friend Weber. Thank you, Weber, for the suggestion. This is going to be fun. I knew Steph would enjoy this one because she's a vacation gal. I know she's got some stories to tell.
I like trips.
And she likes her trips, and I know one that's going to be on your list already.
Do you? What?
But we'll leave it there.
I want to know what you think.
We'll find out later.
When we get into the list, I want to know.
Right. But really quick, couple housekeeping things. Make sure to follow us at the Two Ps Podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
And YouTube.
And YouTube. Follow us there. Comment what your favorite vacation places are. You don't have to do 5. You can just do 1 or 2. And most importantly, let us know what other topics you'd like for us to cover. If you have this this deep need, an insatiable need for us to do our top 5 favorite kinds of carpet, we'll figure it out and we'll do it. Or flooring. Let me make it flooring.
That's intense.
We'll do our top 5 favorite kinds of flooring. Whatever. Because we always learn something as we go. By the way,
that actually would be a fun one.
See, you start to think.
I already have a top part of my list.
Well, there you go.
I know my favorite flooring.
I think I do too. I think it might be the same or at least similar with us. But that's not this episode.
Well, you don't know.
No, I don't know. Sorry, that's the fun of the show. The other part of the fun of the show is that we do have some facts, little random facts to give about our vacation places as well. Mm-hmm. So you always learn something too. Like a really interesting thing that still sticks with me last time in our top 5 favorite liquids episode was the scorpion venom.
Yeah.
Which is the most expensive liquid on Earth.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really interesting thing. So if you haven't heard that and you want to hear more facts and just fun things about a couple learning about each other by talking about liquids, go listen to our previous episode. But we appreciate you being here nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking.
We do. I know I might sounded kind of condescending, but I didn't mean it that way.
Mhm.
I just meant like I agreed. Thank you for being here.
So Steph had a great idea for us to kind of get into the topic of vacations. Sometimes things can go awry on vacations.
Yes.
So why don't you take it away? We've been watching a show, which we talked about too. On the pod.
So we've been watching Married at First Sight. What season are we on?
6.
Well, now we're not watching the seasons in order.
7. Sorry.
We're on 7.
We started at 5. We watched 5 and 6, and now we're on 7.
We're on 7. Yeah, we didn't start at 1. We started at 5, but that's okay. And in this season, there's a couple that I don't even remember their names now. I get them all mixed up.
It's okay.
But they leave. So the way Married at First Sight works is that like there's what are they called?
So
no. I want to tell the story.
I was just going to set it up, and then you can tell the actual.
No, I can set it up. But the people who match them, what are they called? The professionals, the matchmakers.
Okay, if you want to call them that, that's fine.
Okay, there's like 3 people, and they match these people up who want this experience, and then they literally don't see each other or know anything about the other person until they get married, and they actually get married, and then they get to know each other over a certain number of weeks.
They're already legally married.
And then at the end, they get to pick, like, do you want to stay married or do you want to get divorced? So anyway.
8 weeks, which is still not that long of a time to really know if you want to marry somebody. That's crazy.
That's 2 months. But the first thing that they get to do is go on vacation, like their honeymoon, to Cancun. And in this season, there's 3 couples, and 2 of them got on the plane and went, and one of them was at the airport going to get on the plane to go to Cancun, and the girl gets arrested.
You jumped right to it. There was no buildup. So, yeah. So
no, it's a shock.
Oh, sorry. Boom. Shock.
Shock factor.
When we watched it, there was a buildup because it was like all we saw was the 2 couples having fun in Mexico, like on their honeymoon vacation. And then the third couple, all it shows is the husband with this third couple. And he's sitting there stressing out, looking at his phone, just like sitting at like baggage claim. Like
she got pulled away by
security and then eventually the police because there were these brand new allegations put against her.
She had no warrant for her arrest.
She had a warrant. That's right. It was a warrant for her arrest.
Mm-hmm. Stalking. For
stalking somebody. Turns out it was her ex. It was a whole thing.
We're not done with the season yet, so we still really don't know the whole truth yet.
But man, we were into it with that.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
They can't even go enjoy their vacation. And then the other 2 couples.
Got arrested?
The other 2 couples were like, I wonder what happened to these 2. What's going on? Because they met them briefly once prior. All the couples meet. And like it's some of it's still pretty secretive, but talk about things that can go awry. There's a lot of things that can go kind of crazy on vacation.
I know. What do you have on your record? Are you going to get arrested if we tried to go out of the country?
The closest thing that I've ever done is I had to go to traffic court. I had to do that once. But you already know that. So that's a story maybe we can tell if we ever do our top 5 favorite getting pulled over stories. Hey, you're counting if you've even gotten pulled over that many times.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I think it's maybe been. I can think of 3.
3, and you've gotten a ticket once.
Yeah.
So 33% of the time you get a ticket.
Yeah, that's pretty good odds, I'd say.
I've probably gotten pulled over between 6 and 8 times. And I've gotten, I think, maybe like 3 or 4 tickets, one of which was...
So 50%.
Almost got my license taken away. But that was when I was all of these took place, by the way, when I was a rough, not aggressive, but a fast driver. Very reckless driver. I mean, it was reckless driving. So within a 5-year span, I got like, maybe not 8. It was probably like 6.
Wow.
6 tickets. Yeah.
Wow.
So basically 1 a year.
Well, those don't stop you, do they?
Probably from like, I think I got one when I was like 17 or something. So it was like from like 17 to like 25. And then after I turned 25, after that era, pretty much a little bit before the time I moved down here to Tennessee, I was much more safe with my driving.
Well, that's good.
So,
I have a story to tell, but I'm not going to tell it because this is not the topic.
No, it's not. The topic is vacations. I guess we should hop on in there. Now, who's first?
You.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I told you before we hit record.
Apologies, madam. I didn't remember. So let's touch upon...
Madam. I feel like an old meemaw.
Madam Galala.
Okay, that's a little weird. But go ahead with your number 5.
What's being with me if it's not a little weird, right?
That's true.
See, she knows it. So basically, let's touch upon what we hinted at the beginning, which was where we were talking about how like we gauged these differently. Okay. So top 5 favorite vacations. What all I was trying to say was that what makes a vacation great really is 3 elements: the place and the things to do there. The
I didn't
stories.
know you were like such a pro on
On what?
on this.
I mean, I used to work for Expedia. I know everything about all the great locations. All
No,
the locations. If I could speak.
You didn't work for Expedia.
I did sales for them for like 6 months.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
This is one of those things that you tell me and it's not true.
No, it's not true.
Yes, it is.
It's not true.
Okay, good. See, I caught you. Look, I'm getting better.
You're getting better at me just like completely gaslighting you. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
getting
that's what he does to me. He tells me these things that sound honestly realistic.
good. Right.
And then I say, no, really? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? Because that doesn't sound right. He's like, yes, look it up. Look
No.
it up. And then I'm like, okay, all right, I believe you. And then he's like, oh, I'm kidding.
Now,
It's
for
not
the
true.
record, maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay, sure. And I apologize. But
But you're going to continue.
I could easily just keep lying and like not tell you till weeks later. So the information I give you,
That I would be really mad about.
that's true gaslighting and like trying to
That would
manipulate
be real.
you.
I would make that would make me mad.
That becomes manipulation. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to wait. Is it? Because then
Yeah.
I admit it like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, but then guess what though? Then I trust you, and then you're lying to me.
Deep down, you trust me. It's okay. And I would never lie about something important. I don't even
Okay.
really consider those. I mean, I guess they are lies technically.
That's false information.
It's false information.
All right.
So,
Number
but anyway-
5. What's your number
No,
5?
I was just going to say, so vacations, it's about the place you go to and the experiences you have there. So I
Uh-huh.
guess that could be 2 different things if you want, but then also the stories that come with that. Every vacation you've got on your list has a story with it. Whether you tell it or not, it's a different story.
No
But
pun
you-
intended.
No pun intended. But like it's not like you can like go to a place and not have something to say about it that involves, I remember when I was blah, 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 blah. That's a story of an experience. I was just saying it's all combined.
I guess.
You know what I mean? It's all just a ball of stuff. My number 5. This is going to be interesting because I really don't know all the vacations you've been on. And you don't know the ones I've been on. You know, maybe a couple I've mentioned. But so there'll be a lot of information we don't know about here. My number 5 this is when I was very young. I don't know how old I was. My parents listen to this. They'll probably tell me later.
They'll be like, you said it wrong.
You said something wrong. My number 5 is Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Mm-hmm. We just talked about this not too long ago.
Not that long ago, yeah. So Holiday World, I'll give some, I guess I'll tell the facts first.
Well, explain what it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll do that first. So Holiday World is basically in this area. It's in southern Indiana in a town called Santa Claus, Indiana. And fun name. We went there. It was, at the time it was, I don't know how long of a drive it was, but it was one state over. And yeah, we went down there. We stayed out it's Indiana. I don't think there's a lot of hilly stuff in Indiana, but we stayed out like in a camper in the woods somewhere. And then we went to Santa Claus, Indiana. So it was the entire experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, though, the reason why this made my list is because it was my awakening of enjoying roller coasters. So this is my first big, like, oh my gosh, I really love roller coasters, and I still do.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, this one's wooden roller coasters, which are rickety and kind of scare me now.
Yeah.
But at that exact time, this is actually kind of one of the facts. Holiday World had the fastest wooden roller coaster in the United States.
Is it still the fastest now?
I don't know if maybe. I really don't know. I didn't find that. It just says now it has the top rated wooden roller coaster. So that might have been surpassed by somebody now.
Yeah, probably.
But this was like 15 years ago or something. So maybe 20 years ago now almost. Because I'm old.
Getting old.
I know. I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, Santa Claus, Indiana, Holiday World. Couple bits of information. So it has the most highest rated wooden roller coasters in the U.S. We already talked about that. It has the number 1 rated water park ride in the U.S. called the Wildebeest. Not Wildebeest, Wildebeest. It's kind of like a water park / amusement park. And then it also is Holiday World is the first founded theme park in the United States. Not amusement park, but theme park, meaning it's got a theme. This is long before Disney World, right? And it was called Santa Claus. What was it called? Hold on. It was called Santa Claus Land, and it was based on Santa Claus
Oh.
being in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Hmm.
So the founder of the park, I think he was a native from there. I don't have this particular information, which, by the way, this information is from holidayworld.com. Perfect. The original name was Santa Claus Land because his own kids, as well as friends of his kids, in town, would say there's no Santa Claus here, but we live in a town called Santa Claus. Like there's something wrong here. So anyway, I guess the right things lined up. He ended up making this theme park called Santa Claus Land. So it had like toy shops. It had like different like kind of various like Christmas related rides, and then it also had Santa all year round. So
Well, how
kids could go
fun.
see Santa all year round. Eventually, it changed into Holiday World, which is now still a very big theme park / water park.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, ton of fun. It was one of my earlier vacations. We didn't go on vacations. We weren't a family that went on vacation every year. This is true. My parents will say the same thing. I would say on average, we'd take little trips. But in terms of big vacations, I would say we went maybe every 3 years, maybe, or so. But because of that, it was easy for me to pick out the really fun ones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was going to be a harder list to make, but it really wasn't. I kind of figured it out. So, anyway.
Well, good for you.
Thanks.
I don't
Holiday
know.
World.
I've never been there,
Oh, great.
but
Yeah, it's not something people seek out if you're not in the Midwest, I feel like, because,
yeah, I feel like that's a Midwest thing.
well, yeah, because it's not like the greatest theme park in the world. We never went back. You know what I mean? We went once,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Huh. Well, good. I like the story that Kevin talked about in the
Oh.
car.
Great story. I'll tell this very, very briefly. So I was so nervous to hop on these wooden roller coasters. But Kevin, he's my stepdad. He was trying to encourage me to go on these rides, on these wooden roller coasters. Remember, at the time, fastest.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how my mom was really feeling at the time because she didn't go on there, I don't think. But anyway, we ended up hopping on there, and he said, this is how he tells it, because I hardly remember this. I remember a little bit of it. I remember loving it. But he said, I looked really scared, my head's shaking, it's jerking around. He's looking at me, I'm frozen solid, moving on a roller coaster. And then we slam, boom, stop, our heads bobble back and forth. And I look up at him and I say, let's do it again. I'm like 6 or 7 years old or something, maybe 8.
He said you rode it like,
We rode it like 10 times or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that roller coaster.
how do you think he was feeling?
I'm sure he was done by the end of it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But ton of fun. And once again, that was the reason why I made my list, really, was because it was a new love I found. And I still
Yeah.
love roller coasters. If I go to an amusement park, I always do the roller coasters. They're fun. You and I haven't been to one together.
No, we haven't. We have not. That's a good number 5.
Thank you. So I'm ready for yours. What is it?
Well, first, before I give my number 5, I want to know what the vacation is that you think is on my list.
I mean, Hawaii.
Okay, you think that's on there?
I mean, I know it's on there. I just don't know which number
How
it is.
do you know it's on there?
You act like I don't know you. You're always like that Hawaii's got to be out there. I
Why?
wish you wouldn't have had me say that.
Why? I just want to know why you think that.
Because you've so lovingly talked about it so many times.
Well, it might not be.
Let's stop looking at each other because she's grinning.
We might not be. I
Okay.
have a lot of honorable mentions also, by the way.
I actually do too, more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I do too. So who knows? It could have been in honorable mentions.
Sure, you have photographs of this in your house on display of this particular vacation.
Okay, so my number 5. So my number 5 is Gatlinburg / Pigeon Forge.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful out there.
And I've been there twice, but this vacation that made my number 5 was a trip that me and my mom and my sister went on. How old was I? I was in middle school, so I don't know, 10 to 12 maybe. And anyway, we went there, and I remember mostly Pigeon Forge, but I was young, and I remember that like we went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. And we went to this thing. It was called the Black Bear Jamboree. And I still have my t-shirt. I still wear it. I have a gray t-shirt that says Black Bear Jamboree on it. I still wear it.
Oh.
That says a lot. I can wear the same shirt I wore in middle school, but but you know. And it was a lot of fun. It was like the show, like this dinner show. It felt so fancy. It was like a dinner show where people brought you like all this food and then you watched. It's kind of creepy, I guess, now thinking about it, but like these mechanical huge bears on the stage. And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Acted out things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when we went to Ripley's Believe It or Not, I had this really pretty charm bracelet, and my mom and my Nana had gotten me little charms. And I remember there was one that was a violin, and it got hooked in the gate and it broke. And I was so upset. So I was very upset about it.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, but my Nana sent me a new one. So a new charm.
Naturally.
A new charm.
How charming.
I know. Anyway.
man, I've been nailing these. I'm getting her to laugh all day. It's great.
But then there was this other kind of like upside down house thing too.
There's just a lot of weird, quirky things there.
Yeah, but I was so young. I don't remember like every single thing. But I remember that we had a lot of fun. And I really loved that vacation a lot.
That's good.
I have a lot of memories from there, and it was, I think we all had fun. So, a couple interesting facts about Gatlinburg. This is from visitmysmokies.com. So, why are you grinning?
Just read. It's okay.
Why
I'm just grinning at her. You look cute, okay?
Oh, okay. Stop looking at me.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Gatlinburg was named after the most hated man in town. So before it was named Gatlinburg, the town was called White Oak Flats. A man named Radford Gatlin moved into town in 1854, and he built a general store.
The second one in town. Gatlin didn't exactly get along with people in town.
Excuse me? This must be on your list too, and we have the same freaking website.
I also picked it too, but I wanted to wait for you to give your experiences out first.
Oh, okay.
Keep reading. So this is an interesting fact.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just shocked. So he was involved in several lawsuits, and the prominent family in town, the Ogles, were not big fans of his. The Ogles originally founded the town. Gatlin opened the only post office in the city and his general store, and people nicknamed the area Gatlinburg. Eventually, Gatlin was run out of town, and the name of the town was changed to Gatlinburg.
That's so funny, because it's just like, stay out of that part of town. Stay out of Gatlinburg. He's there. He's got his general store there.
That's so weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Can I throw a fact out?
I mean, no, wait till your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna.
This is my turn.
Okay, sorry.
You have your own story with your wherever it's ranked.
I just don't want. I'm thinking about the efficiency of the podcast. I don't want to sit on this topic for like 30 minutes.
We're not. I'm done. That's the only fact I was going to give.
Oh, so you're done.
I'm done. That was it.
I'm like, okay, can I say something? Yeah. And then you're like, no, wait, I'm done.
Well, yeah, because but you're gonna have facts with yours, so
a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm done. But that's it. That was just a really fun vacation. And I remember so many things from it. And yeah, it's
a beautiful area.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not surprised that it's on your list. Now, for me, it is full disclosure. This is my number 3. So I'll read my number 4 off, I guess, in a minute. Right, I guess. This is going to be quick for me.
Yeah,
so this is my number 3 because I took 2 big trips out to this area. I have it labeled on my notes as East Tennessee, Smoky Mountains, Dollywood, Gatlinburg, Johnson City. Right, like all these different things, but are all in the same area from each other. You know, I kind of lumped it together. A couple of the facts really quick about it, though, and then we'll get into it. So it's the most visited national park in the U.S., 10 million visitors every year.
Is this from the same website?
No, this is from climbworks.com.
Oh, I love Climbworks.
I'm familiar with Climbworks as well. But yeah, 10 million per year. It is the most visited national park.
Oh, wow.
Another thing from the same site is there's over 800 miles of hiking trails.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just so touristy.
No, this is the Smokies.
Oh.
Specifically.
Oh.
10 million would be a lot of people, I feel like, to go through like Gatlinburg or something. Maybe not. It's very popular.
It's huge.
Well, I guess for those of you who may not know, so this is kind of the place where a lot of people, like in the Midwest, we would all, like, that's a big vacation place to go to, is down to the Smokies. And like, so I have 2 quick stories to tell. So we loved it around the same time. This is either a little bit after or a little bit before. If I were to guess, I think, oh no, it was before. My parents will be proud of me because I do remember this one. This was technically not a vacation for me the first time we went. It was my parents' honeymoon. And they brought the kids. And we stayed out in the wood. I'm assuming we stayed out near the mountains, if I were to guess. We stayed out in a cabin. And then we went to Dollywood.
Okay.
So we got the mountain life, and then we also got the amusement park life. Dollywood's a lot of fun if you've never been there. There's a lot of things to do. It's just your run-of-the-mill theme park, but like it's Dolly Parton's park, basically. But like if you're from the area, like Tennessee, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Dollywood. Super fun, beautiful. The Smokies are beautiful. The second, and then I have a quick story to tell, but the second time I went was actually just, well, I went with them a second time, but then the third time I wanted to bring this up too. I was just there a year ago as of the recording this podcast, not even a year ago. And we went up, it's to Gatlinburg specifically, and we went up to this place called Anakeesta. This was suggested to me, and I'm so glad I took their suggestion because Anakeesta is beautiful. So it's like this little tucked away village. I mean, it's like touristy, but like you have to like pay and you like ride a thing up there, and there's restaurants, there's music.
Oh, how cool.
There's like obstacle courses for kids, all kinds of little things like that, but you're up closer to the Smokies, and it looks so beautiful. So like if you go to this restaurant, it's sitting on the edge of this little community, so you can just eat like this nice steak dinner and look at the mountains. It was beautiful. The day we went kind of sucked because it was like raining.
Oh.
Like or at least kind of misty. But then we did mountain coasters. So they were the first ones to do this. But it's like a roller coaster, but you control the speed of your particular cart. It's like one person at a time. It's not like everybody at once.
Oh, okay.
And you can control the speed, and you're going through the mountains on a track.
Wow.
It's scary, but it's fun.
Well, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, if we ever go there or when we go there, we need to do that. Quick story to tell. This is back to the first time we went on my parents' honeymoon trip. It was another story that involves my stepdad. And this one is the one where he nearly broke my back. You heard me correctly. So I was young. This would have been, 2000... I think they got married in 2001, I think. So it's either 2000 or 2001. And that being said, we went down there, and we were staying in a cabin, and I was at an age where I liked to wrestle. I called it wrestling. I used to do it with my dad growing up. He'd get on all fours, I would too, and we'd, climb over each other. And I was just a kid, right? It's something fun I liked to do. We always called it wrestling. Well, Big Daddy and I did that too, my stepdad and I. And I don't know what happened. Next thing I know, I just remember like looking up at the ceiling, and I guess I was thrown in such a way, like he like tossed me. And like they'll tell it better. All I know, according to them, I was like inches away from like having my back land on like this hard coffee table, like landing on the edge of the coffee table, like my back landing on it.
Yeah.
And it would have been bad. And my mom just married this man who nearly broke her son's back. I was okay.
I'm sure it's all forgiven now.
It's all forgiven now, but they tell it. If we ever get them on the podcast, we need to have them retell that story because they could set the record straight on exactly what happened. But anyway, beautiful area. If you need somewhere to go, that's pretty. East Tennessee.
It is, yeah.
The Smokies, Pigeon Forge, that entire area is just beautiful. So much to do and so much to see.
So let me ask you a question, because this is not top 5 favorite vacation locations. So which trip to that location made your list at number 3?
I made it the location, kind of cheated and put both.
Tisk, tisk. Well, then I'll tell really quick, really fast. My second time going there.
Sure,
Ben,
go ahead. This is exactly what I didn't want to have happen, where we talk about it for 30 minutes.
We're not talking about it for 30 minutes.
Right,
I said it's quick. You told 3 stories.
Go ahead.
Okay. I went one time with my friends. I was for her bachelorette party. So I drove there, and we just had a cabin, and we all hung out, and it was just like for a weekend. We went to this place to eat, and I hated it. But it's the place where they insult you. What's that called?
Dick's Last Resort.
Yes. I hated it. My face was red the whole time. I was so uncomfortable.
This is where we're different. I love that place.
I hate it. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
What'd they say about you? Do you remember?
No.
That's probably for the better.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They say some horrible things to you.
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle it now. But I used to like that when I was younger.
I felt like crying.
Oh,
like, honey. I was like, I don't like this. But
you know what you're getting into, though. Like,
no, I know. Well, no, you don't. I didn't choose that place.
But you knew what you were getting into.
What was I supposed to say? I don't want to go here with a group of 7 other girls and be like, I'm going to go eat over here by myself.
It would. No, all I'm saying is that it would have been different if they would have said, like, there's this great restaurant. Service is great.
I didn't know what it was.
They didn't tell you they insult you?
They said they insult you, but I had no idea to the
then I don't feel
extent.
Bad.
I didn't.
They warned you.
I didn't think it was going to be vulgar and stuff. I didn't know.
Well, you should know what to expect when they're saying they're going to insult you. There's the first issue.
Well, I just thought they'd be rude to you. I didn't think it would be
Some people are worse than others.
Harassment.
I've been there a couple times. Sometimes they get kind of rougher than others.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. But the whole trip was fun. It was a great bachelorette party. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. They have that restaurant there. And I was like, I will not be going back there. Thank you.
Well, now we know.
Yep. So that's that.
I can speak on behalf of everybody who knows you personally and say we're not surprised.
I'm sure. Okay. So see, was that 30 minutes? I don't think so.
Nope, it was 27. Not too bad.
All right. Just the sass in here.
Man, there's a lot of sass
Oh my gosh,
tonight.
I think I need to open the door.
Yeah, this is like, there's an energy with this podcast. It's great. It's really feeding this just I don't know, the entertainment today.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you're entertained. Okay, so my number 4 is the beach trip that we took with friends to Figure 8. Is that on your list too?
It's my number 4.
It's your number 4? Okay.
Well, this is fun. We're just telling stories together. You go right ahead.
So, well, thanks for the permission to take my turn.
You're welcome. You just have to ask next time. It's a lot easier if you just ask.
To take my own turn?
Mm-hmm.
No.
What is it with the sass today on both sides? We're both sass-filled. We're both filled with sass.
Okay.
Go on.
So Figure 8. So you can give a description too, but it was fun. It was the first beach trip that we took with friends. So, but I mean, they were
ours together as a couple.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was how many of us? 8?
I thought you were saying 8 just because it's called Figure 8.
No, 9. There was 8 or 9 of us total.
Me, you, 3, 4. I think it's 7.
Okay, 7.
But yeah. 8 and if you include Cass.
Okay, well then it was a total of 8
yeah,
people.
So you're right.
8 people. Anyway, we flew. Me and you flew. Some of us, because this friend group, everybody lives in like different locations. Not everybody, but most of us live in different locations. So some of us flew, some of us drove, and to North Carolina. It's in North Carolina. It's called Figure 8. And it's this it's like this island off of North Carolina, and it's super fancy pantsy.
It's a private island.
Yeah, like you have to go through a gate, and you have to give a code and everything.
You're not a private beach. It's a private island.
Yeah, it's really nice. But so 2 of our friends rented like a mansion. And like we all pitched in. It was big. It wasn't okay. It wasn't like
even
$1 million.
Close to a mansion. We rented a really nice beach house.
I mean, it felt like a mansion to me.
It was the biggest beach house I've ever been in.
I'm telling my experience.
Okay.
You can correct me when it's your turn.
Okay. You're right.
It felt like a mansion to me. And anyway, we all pitched in for it. And we stayed there, which was really, really nice. And like you literally walk right out, like out the back door, there's sand. Like it's just to the beach. It just was really, really good. And anyway, it was just fun. There was a lot of shells there. You could walk on the beach and there were a bunch of like big shells. And so I love shells and collecting those. So that was a lot of fun for me. And I had fun with our friend group, and like every night somebody was assigned to cook dinner. And so that was fun. Mm-hmm. It was just really nice just being there and being able to go to the beach and be with friends. And then there was one time that it stormed. Remember, it turned into like a sandstorm Maybe you had already gone in.
I don't remember this.
You already went in then. It was me and a couple other girls.
I was probably burning in the hot North Carolina sun.
It was cloudy.
You still burn, and you know it.
You went in, I think.
I was inside playing Knockout City on my Switch. That's my vacation.
That's exactly right.
And it was great.
And so it was getting a storm, and it started getting cloudy, and we were sitting out there, and all of a sudden it got so dark, and then like the wind blew, but it was like it was blowing, like there were dark pieces of sand, and it looked like in a desert when you see the sand move and stuff.
I bet that's weird looking.
Yeah, it was really. I took a picture of it. It's a really cool picture. So anyway, but that was a really fun. That's my number 4. So you're number 4 too. So
yes, yeah,
yeah. Okay, so I do have a quick fact, if that's fine.
I wonder if it's the same.
Well, so my website is anchorsupcarolina.com.
All right, never mind. Very different.
What
can we learn about Figure 8 Island, North Carolina?
I mean, so this isn't an interesting fact, really. It's just more of a like statement, like this is what it is. But
oh, okay.
Yeah, many people ask the question, where is Figure 8 Island? Well, it is just north of Wilmington, North Carolina. The island's private and only accessible via gate access across a swing bridge or by boat. Although a bridge is constructed, a guard gate stands between the mainland and Figure 8 Island. So unless you're a guest or a resident, the guards will not allow you to pass onto the island despite your best sales pitch. Your best shot at seeing Figure 8 is by photos online or circumnavigating the sea island by boat.
So it's very private.
Yeah.
You must have read that off of like a blog. There seemed to be like a personality within what you read.
Yeah, I know. I did.
Yeah, it's actually technically a part of Wilmington Metropolitan. So it's not like a standalone place. It is part of Wilmington.
Yeah, so it says, yeah.
That said it was outside of it. So I did want to say that.
Okay. Well, here's another section.
Okay.
Right here. So it says measuring over 1,300 acres and positioned within close proximity to downtown Wilmington. The island is home to the rich and the famous due to its natural beauty and top-notch construction. The most notable fact about the Barrier Island is that it is maintained and protected in pristine condition.
You mentioned rich and famous. This is a perfect segue. This was pulled from the classic Wikipedia. There's a couple frequent visits from politicians specifically.
Oh.
So former Vice President Al Gore frequents there, and so does Senator John Edwards. So two prominent politicians are frequently found at Figure 8. You know, it's funny, if you ever would have asked me, like, will you ever go to a private beach? I thought, why would I? Like, first of all, I couldn't afford that. Second of all, just no. I just wouldn't expect it. And then we went. And let me tell you something. Once you go to a private beach versus a public beach, which we've all been to a public beach.
So much better.
You don't realize how much better it is. There were families there, sure, but because like we Airbnb'd out the beach house, right?
Well, it was through a real estate website, but basically, yeah.
But it's like we rented it for like a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so and we all pitched in, we got a decent place, and that was front facing. It was right at the beach.
Yeah.
The next year, which I get mixed up with, we went to Galveston, Texas, and we were one row back. So anyway, beautiful view. I remember that. I got some pictures of that. Such a great time. I guess I'll tell mine really fast because that's literally my number 4 too.
Yeah.
Had a great time. For me, it's really special because it was my first big trip with Stephanie. So for me, that's why it holds a dear place in my heart, because it was time for us to have this like different kind of romantic time together in a beautiful place. And there wasn't a bunch of people around, so we could lay out on the beach, just the two of us, and talk. We had moments like that. We walked along the beach together a lot. We saw the sunrise together. So for me, the biggest reason why it's up there for me is because of my time with Steph.
Aww.
But also completely beautiful and totally changed my view of beaches.
The sunrise was fun because we debated getting, because like the alarm went off and we were like, I don't want to get up.
Even I was like,
I don't want to. But I'm so stinking glad that we did.
Me too.
Because that was beautiful. And that was so much fun.
We got a picture of us, I think, like kissing each other.
Yeah, it was fun.
As the sun rises. I love that picture.
And then we found some shells and stuff. We got some pretty pictures of the ocean. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I'm so glad we got up because we almost didn't.
Such a beautiful time. Well, if you become, here's my plug, ready? If you become a member or support me on Patreon, or become a member on my YouTube channel, you can see one of my behind the scenes videos, and it's me, Steph, and our friend Heather, who's been on the pod before, hanging out at the beach there. So if you want to see what it was all like,
oh yeah, I forgot you filmed that.
Throw a couple bucks my way, and you can watch that video. So there you go. So Patreon/Alex Duquette. Anyway,
I forgot you filmed that.
That's really all I have about Figure Eight. It was a really nice time,
Yeah.
and it really changed my view of beaches.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Aw. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was really nice. It was one of the best beaches I've been to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, well, that's all you have to say on it?
That is all I have to say on it. So technically, who's next? I guess
me.
it's you again.
Number 3. And then it's your number 2.
Right, then we're back on track. All right.
So my number 3 is my trip to California.
Like this most recent one?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a recent trip. Okay.
That's my number 3. So I have a friend, and she is a travel nurse. And so from January to March, she was in San Diego. And so I flew there in February to visit her because it's so expensive, but it was nice because she had a place to stay that I could stay. So I didn't have to pay for that. I just had to pay for the plane ticket and then like food and experiences and stuff. Right. So I don't know. It was and plus she had a car, so I didn't have to pay for a rental car or anything like that. So it worked out really, really well. Plus I hadn't seen her because she lives in Pittsburgh. So I don't really get to see her that often anyway. So it just was a really nice like girls trip. But I flew out there, and that was a whole mess though. It didn't start out on a great note because my flight from here was delayed. We sat on like the runway for like an hour and a half. And then I missed my connecting flight because the first flight was delayed. So I was flying in, my connection was in Chicago, and I was supposed to fly into Santa Ana because I was going to meet her in Santa Ana because we were going to go to Disneyland the next day. And since I missed that flight, the next flight to Santa Ana was at like 9 p.m. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I had to fly into LA instead.
You're all over the place.
Yeah. So then she had to drive an extra hour up to LA to pick me up, which she didn't mind. But so we got to, I met her in LA, and we ended up having dinner there, which was, did we have dinner there? No.
Is this the infamous dinner night that I'm thinking of that you've talked about on the pod before?
No, this isn't it. No, this is not. We did not have dinner in LA. She picked me up in LA, and then we drove. Did we? Yes, we did. We did. I'm getting confused.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. And then, but it was good. We went and got like sushi and stuff, and it was good. And then we went to, we drove to Santa Ana where we got our Airbnb, and we stayed. And the next day we did Disneyland. We only did Disneyland for a day, so we only did the Disneyland park, not the California Adventure Park. And so that was so much fun. So much fun. Like, I'm not into Star Wars, but that was part of my favorite. We did that Star Wars ride. Oh, it worked out perfectly. We didn't even plan anything. You know, everybody says you have to plan your time and do this and do that for rides, or you're going to be in line forever. We did not, and it worked out perfectly. We got the app, and we looked at times, and like the Star Wars ride, that was the big ride, the new one, was like down, but we were close by. We went and got lunch, and then we checked it, and it had just opened up, and the wait was like 20 minutes. Usually it's like 80 minutes. So we ran over there and got in line. It was perfect. And she was nervous because she gets really motion sick. And it was like, that's the one where you're on like that magnetic floor, and like you're in that car, and it drives around and bumps into stuff and yanks you around. But she did fine.
Bumper cars?
No, it wasn't bumper cars.
No.
This is part of the ride. It's a whole experience.
Oh,
this whole ride is
an
experience. And it was so much fun. We loved it. It was our favorite, both of us. And then we did some other rides that were also tons of fun. I think we did one of them twice because we loved it. And yeah, we ate. I mean, it was pretty good food. We had ice cream and walked around, and we just sort of left when we were done, which was nice, and went back and to the Airbnb. But we got dinner that night, and this is the dinner that I talked about before, where it said vegetarian noodles, but it was not vegetarian.
You got to listen to that old episode to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was our top 5 worst restaurant experiences. So check that out.
Yeah. So that was on this vacation. Anyway, and then I'm almost done. But the next day, we drove on the coast back down from Santa Ana to San Diego. Which
Say
is
that one more time. The mic didn't pick you up.
Oh, I said we drove down from Santa Ana to San Diego along the coast. So we stopped at all these different beaches along the way and just took pictures and
That's nice.
walked on these different beaches. It was so much fun. And I took my film camera and took some pictures with that. And then the next day we're at the Airbnb. The next couple of days, we just did some stuff around San Diego and shopped and went to cool places and did some fun things and went to beaches. So much fun. I loved it. It seemed like it was super expensive, but it seemed like a really cool place to live. Like the weather was nice. It stormed there. And so she was staying with a family that rented a room.
Well, San Diego's Northern California, right?
No, Southern.
It's Southern. Sorry. Okay. It's Southern California.
San Francisco is Northern.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in Northern, it can rain, but in the South part of California, it gets rare.
Well, it stormed while we were there, and it was like thundering and lightning. And the family she was staying with, the lady was like, "Oh my gosh, we're so worried." And it's like
it's
a
regional
thunderstorm.
difference. Yeah,
it's fine. She's like, "It never does this here." She was freaking out about it. I was like, "It's just thunder. It's fine."
But see, that's an example. Just different parts of the country. It's totally different.
Oh, okay. So here's some facts. So this fact comes from my head. Okay. In San Diego, when you park on the side of the street and there's a hill, did you know that it's illegal to not turn your wheels sideways?
No, but I know you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to turn your wheels sideways.
Yeah.
It's illegal, though?
Yes.
Because I know that's...
They'll come give you a ticket.
Interesting. I know you need to do that if it's a steep hill.
Yeah. They'll give you a ticket.
Huh.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
But I learned it there.
Yeah.
All right. So this is from California.com. San Diego is one of only 2 places where the rare Torrey pine grows. These magical yet critically endangered trees can be found at the Torrey Pine State Natural Reserve in the northeastern coastal area of San Diego County, as well as on Santa Rosa Island. And then...
What do they look like?
I don't know. I don't know what they look like.
Well, then why is it on here?
Well, because it's just a kind of tree.
It's just a kind of tree. You can only find it there.
Yeah, but I don't know what it looks like. I maybe saw them. We drove past Torrey Pine, so I probably saw them and didn't know.
Yep.
San Diego has over 7,000 small farms, more than any other U.S. city, and produces the most avocados.
Not surprised.
And if you can't get enough avocados, Jason Mraz owns an organic avocado farm in San Diego, right beside the ocean.
Oh, that's fun. I did not know that.
Yeah. We saw sea lions.
Cool.
And
this is clearly one of your... What number is this for you?
3.
Oh my God, this is your 3?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, it's also fresh on your mind because you had a lot to say about it.
Well, but it was so much fun. We did so many things.
Yeah.
We saw sea lions and we ate good food.
You had good food. You've spoken very highly about this, and it sounds like you had a really nice time.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I remember being excited to hear your story when you came back, and you had a lot to say, so that was really fun to hear.
It was so fun. So.
I've been to California. I've also been in Southern California, but I've been a little north of you. I was in Los Angeles. The good things that I have to say about it is that it's very pretty. Like, the mountains are so pretty out there. And the weather is definitely great. Even in the summer, it wasn't like super, super hot. Because I went in August of 2021. And the food also there was delicious.
Yeah.
So the food, oh my gosh, such good food.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised you had such a great time.
Yeah.
I've had some friends who went to San Diego. Apparently the zoo there is really good, the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah, we didn't do. I'm not a big zoo person.
I know. I'm just saying the zoo is really good.
I've heard that too. Yeah, it's like one of the most famous zoos.
But I'm curious because we live in Memphis currently, and Memphis also has a really great zoo, one of the highest rated in the country. So I'm curious if it stacks up because I love the Memphis Zoo.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I've always lived here, so it's like, okay, whatever, it's the zoo.
Yeah.
But it is really good. Anyway, I'm glad. I'm glad you had such a great time. I'm glad you're able to do that.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
So I guess we're on to my number 2. Now we're kind of back on an order again.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is the one and probably, if I were to guess, only time I'll take a cruise. And this was my cruise to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm. Aren't you fancy?
No, we did Carnival. It wasn't very fancy.
Is that not a fancy one?
Carnival's like the entry-level cruise you can do.
What's the princess one? That's the one I want.
The Disney one?
No, it's not Disney related. It's just princess.
There's only 2 I know besides Disney, and it's Royal Caribbean and...
Oh, there's a cruise line that's called Princess.
Carnival.
Anyway.
Well, I'm sure that is fancy. I was able to do this whole thing barely under $1,000.
Wow.
So that's everything, other than like spending money on things like when you're docked and you go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, yeah, it was. So I say it was the one and only time because there's parts of the cruise experience itself that I'm not a fan of, but there's other experiences that were great, and also seeing these places at the Bahamas are really cool too. So that's why it still made my list, because there's still enough experiences there to make up for it. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's why it's good enough to be my number 2.
Yeah.
So we drove from Illinois to South Carolina, and it was a 14-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
And we stopped like midway through or something like that, and then we'd go the rest of the way. And it was a 5-day. Yes, it was a 5-day. So we went to Nassau and Freeport, which are 2 prominent sections of the Bahamas.
Okay.
I can't remember. Have you been to the Bahamas?
No.
I couldn't remember if you have or not.
Yeah, when I was 6 months old or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was a hurricane while I was there.
Was that just like a trip like your parents went on when they were married or something? Or?
Yeah. Nana went too.
Okay, so it was like a little family thing.
Yeah, but
so,
I mean, I don't know anything.
So it's really pretty. The water is so blue. It is blue. You're in the middle of like the water, nowhere near an island.
That's kind of scary.
And it's blue.
That's kind of scary.
No, it's how like untainted water looks. It's got this blue hue to it.
I don't know if I could ever do a cruise. I don't know. It's just too scary.
Why would the water be scary?
Because you're in the middle of it, not close to anything.
You're missing the point. The point is that the water was so beautiful.
I understand that, but I think my fear overtakes that.
That's another thing I was going to tell is that, but I'll go to that in a second. So it was great. First time doing a cruise. All you can eat food. All you can drink drinks. There was entertainment on the boat itself, right? So you could play poker. There was entertainment. There was musicians. There was comedians. There was golf at the top. There was all kinds of, like putt-putt, not like golf.
Putt-putt, not golf.
But then I had some amazing food in Nassau. I'll never forget it. Such great food.
Like what? What did you have? Do you remember?
I can't remember what it was. It reminded me of like, this is not the same part of the world at all, but it reminded me of like Mediterranean food. It wasn't Mediterranean food. I'm not stupid. I just remember it seeming very similar. There was like some bread stuff. There's like this stuff that went with the bread. It seemed very Mediterranean. Okay. But I can't remember. It was just this really popular restaurant there that locals and tourists go to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but it was really beautiful. And I guess one quick story to tell. I always thought this was kind of funny. So one thing you should take heed of if you're thinking about taking a trip to the Bahamas is remember that there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of tourists. So there's going to be locals there who are trying to sell you things like beads and bracelets and necklaces and all kinds of things, right? And they'll sell them to you for like $30, but it costs them like a cent to make, right? And they're trying to take advantage of tourists just to buy those. Ooh, this is a local from the Bahamas, got this,
Yeah.
So I remember warning both of my siblings about it. I was probably about 21, 22 at the time, so they would have been respectively like 17 and 12 or something like that. My math is off, but around there, 16 and 12. And so I said, listen, take my advice. We're going to all go to Nassau, and there's going to be a bunch of different, like, because that's one thing that was cool, too. Like, right off the ocean, there was a bunch of people. There's, like, a big market.
Yeah.
And, like, you could go and you can buy food, like, fresh food. You can buy these artsy, crafty things. But the prices, those prices were decent, but then there'd be people who would, like, approach you. Say, hey, you would look great with this bead or these beads and all this stuff. And they're trying to, it's kind of, you wouldn't handle it very well. It'd be a lot of touchy, a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
I would keep you away from that.
Thank you.
I would.
Thank you.
Because for some reason in those moments, I can just stand up and go, no, it's fine. I say that. I told my siblings this. Don't fall for it. Just
You
say,
fell
no,
for
thank
it,
you. Keep
didn't
walking.
You fell for it.
Guess what
didn't
happened? We were walking down. We all just docked. I don't know where everybody else in our family was. We went with like 30 family members. It was a huge side of the Duquettes. It was actually for one of my uncle's birthdays. It was kind of a big celebration for him. And actually, no, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. It was actually for my aunt. It was for her birthday.
you? Okay.
Sorry. I'll correct that. If any family's listening, they'll know why that's funny. Anyway, so we all docked. It was me and my siblings, and then they walked. There was people approaching them saying, "Hey, oh, you look at these bracelets. You're such a beautiful young girl. You should put this on." They kept walking. A guy stopped me. I walked out with the necklace for $30.
No, you did it.
Yes, I
No,
did.
you did it.
I was so uncomfortable, and I was talking all this talk, keep walking, and I, for some
Oh my
reason, just
gosh.
caved.
So you wouldn't protect me from anything.
No, I would.
You would buy everything.
No, I would. I think it was that particular guy that did it because it wasn't the same people that did it to my siblings. And
I think that's just an excuse.
no, I swear. Now I've learned that lesson. I did. Trust me. I've learned that lesson.
That's hilarious.
But
that is so freaking funny.
That makes sense. It's at my expense. Of course, you think it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
See, I tried to make her feel a little bad. It didn't even work.
No,
So-
it's funny.
A couple quick things about the Bahamas here, and then we'll move on.
I'm interested because I've never been, but I kind of think like I'd like to go, but I think it does make me nervous about.
It's also very dangerous
I know it makes me
if
feel a
you
little
leave
nervous.
the beaten path. Because that's the
But-
story I told you with the guy that was like, "I know a shortcut."
Yeah.
And he was taking us through these back alleys. We were trying to get to this restaurant that people were suggesting. And there's lines, and it's beautiful. Remember, there's water, beautiful trees, but it's so much hustle and bustle. There's no like lines on the roads in a lot of the spots, so like it's just cars going both ways, and it's wild. There are some structured roads. It's not like there's not. But as soon as you enter into town more, you're driving through alleyways, through people's backyards, basically. Everything is lumped on top of each other, and it gets pretty slummy pretty quick.
Yeah.
Which a lot of these touristy places are actually some of the most poor as well. But anyway, yeah, I know a shortcut. And we hop in this guy's van. I remember my dad complaining about how much he paid this guy. These people try to upcharge you. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the bad things, but it's beautiful, and I still recommend you go.
It's your number 2, and you're talking about all these bad things.
Well, because the
But you
experience,
enjoyed it.
the
Yeah.
experience itself was so fun, and we got to see so many cool things.
Yeah.
A couple things about the Bahamas. So this is from. Did I forget the? Yep, I think I forgot the website. So I apologize. If you type in facts about the Bahamas, it's not too far down the list.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, the name Bahamas comes from the Spanish term Baja Mar, which means shallow sea in Spanish. Just a little
Oh.
thing. Another thing here is that it's widely believed that Christopher Columbus's first landfall was in the Bahamas. There's a little bit of debate between whether it's San Salvador or Samana Cay, but either way, the European land rush in the New World began in the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
Final thing is that one time it has snowed in the Bahamas.
Oh, really?
There's one time on record. It was January 17th, 1977. And a cold wave swept southern Florida and brought cold weather all the way to the Bahamas. On that day, the only time recorded in history, snow fell on the city of Freeport on the island of Grand Bahama. The snow didn't accumulate, but snowflakes did fall.
Oh,
so it
wow.
snowed in the Bahamas one day.
Wow. Do you know what you just reminded me of, though?
No.
Was the narrator on Age of Adeline
I'll take that as a compliment.
when he says, and snow fell in
Oh, so it has nothing to do with
Pasadena.
how professional I sound. It just has to do with
the
what I
wording.
said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I cannot wait till you compliment me on this podcast.
I know I am. I compliment you all the time.
When?
I've complimented you on the podcast before, and you were like, wow, you're being sappy.
Yeah, I missed that one time.
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 2?
No, I want to talk. Can I talk about the Bahamas?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sorry, you haven't been there. Sorry.
No, I've never been there. But okay, so about cruises, I get nervous because you're on this boat with all these people. So
Yeah.
first of all, what if it's like a Titanic situation? and you die. Another thing
Yeah,
is if there's a murderer on that boat, you're trapped with this murderer.
That's true.
People have died mysteriously on cruises, and that's scary.
Usually it's because they've been overboard. It's not because they were murdered.
But I don't know. It's scary, right? And then you got, I don't know. And then you think about
you live such a life of fear.
I guess I do. And
you do, but I understand.
Well, and then the germs. Somebody gets sick, then everybody is going to get it.
Let that immune system take over.
I don't know.
You don't believe in that? You don't believe in your immune system?
It's not that I don't believe in it, but even if you have a good immune system, you can still get sick. Yeah, but you're on a trip to the Bahamas. Why do you want to get sick? Anyway, I don't know.
I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here.
I think maybe one day I would do it. Maybe.
Well, I figured we could do it together one day if you'd like, just to do the cruise experience.
Maybe. I think there's so many things that make me so nervous about it, though.
Well, my recommendation, because
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to say really quick. I'd rather, I think, just fly to the Bahamas.
Can you?
Yeah.
I figured you can. I didn't know.
I'm sure you can.
Because I know it's different because it's not a U.S. territory.
Where's Sandals? Is that in the Bahamas?
That's Jamaica.
Oh, that's Jamaica.
So, which Jamaica I heard is a very similar thing.
Yeah.
In terms of it's really nice, but also it's really not, depending on where you go, that sort of thing. I would never do a 5-day cruise, but I would do a 3-day cruise. So basically what that would mean is you're on the boat one day, you port one day, and then you head back that third day.
And that would be fun.
5 days was too much. We were on the boat. We stopped at Nassau, on the boat, stopped at Freeport, headed back.
Did you get seasick?
Never got seasick, but I was afraid I was going to get seasick.
Because you get nauseous easily.
I get nauseous easily. Never did once.
Okay, well, that's good.
The big reason for me was that, and this really could do with the cruise too, I was with 3 family members in a small room. We had to pull out beds in a small room of 4 people. Barely had a bathroom. Very tiny.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a suite, but it's funny, the suites on that boat were it was bigger than this. It was probably the size of this room and my bathroom put together. It wasn't that big for a suite.
Yeah.
In a hotel, this and that would be
in there.
They pack them in there. Yeah. But once again, if we did a different cruise, a nicer one, it'd be different.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bahamas.
I'd consider it. The Bahamas, I bet, are beautiful, though. I said, with the water.
You would love looking at that water, just looking at it.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
It is so beautiful. Oh, and I didn't even say, we went, of course, to the beaches in the Bahamas.
How were those? Were those really crowded?
Pretty crowded.
Yeah.
I've got some pictures of it, so I have to look back and see for sure. But once again, the water was so clear and blue. Not as clear as it is when you're out at sea, basically.
Yeah.
Because there are people, tainting the water. But it's still much more clear than you'd see in any beach closer by.
Yeah.
So, very beautiful. Still recommend it.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Man, we're going far today. This is going to be a longer pod. We're already at an hour.
Oh, wow. Well, we're almost done. My number 2 is...
There's no rush. I'm just saying, we must have a lot to say about this stuff.
Yeah, we do. We have stories to tell. My number 2 is my trip to Sanibel, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I went together as a girls' trip in 2021. Yeah. And we went in September. So it was a lot of fun. So Sanibel is a little island off of Florida. It was actually, there was the hurricane that went through that area back in October. It was hit and pretty destroyed. So I don't know. There's only one bridge that connects the island to the mainland, and that was destroyed. And then I think most of the island was too. So I don't know in the hurricane. So I don't know how well they're rebuilding. But it made me sad though, because it was a fun memory, on a trip that we went on. But we got there and we were we're not going to rent a car or anything. We're just going to Uber from the airport to the island because we're not going to like go a bunch of places. We're just going to mostly be at the beach anyway. And everything we read was like things are walking distance. So anyway, we had this Uber driver and he was really nice. He told us some cool places to go and whatever, you know, and he was really nice. So we get to we did like Airbnb it was Airbnb and it was like a condo situation kind of. So like it was on like the third floor. And so anyway, we get in there and the place is super, super nice. And we walked to a place and we got some pizza. And we walked back around sunset, which was really nice. We found some pretty shells. Anyway, and then the next day we went, it was a Sunday, we went to the beach and it was fun. And on the Monday, we woke up at like 5 a.m. to like jackhammering noises.
Construction was being done. Yeah.
So construction, like literally right outside the door. So we had to we couldn't hear anything. So we couldn't stay in there and watch, like we couldn't even hear each other talk staying in there. No, you're rolling your eyes like I'm being dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. They were working on the concrete on the
I believe you.
The walkway, right, the patio, right outside the door.
I was rolling my eyes just because of the situation.
Yeah, you could. Oh, okay, well, you couldn't hear anything, so we left to go to the beach, but we had to stop them and ask them to move everything because we couldn't even get out of the door. So anyway, but the host was very, very sweet. We let her know, like, hey, this is going on, and like, I don't know. We sent her pictures, and we're like, look, it's kind of frustrating because like we're here to, enjoy this relaxing thing, and we're walking out in our bathing suits with these guys doing construction and then it's dirty and dusty and this dust was coming into the condo and from under the door and like it just was, and she was so sweet. She said, I'm so sorry. I had no idea they were going to do that. And she gave us like some refund, a little bit of a refund, which was very kind of her to do. We didn't like ask for it or anything. But anyway, but the beach was beautiful. The shells. So everybody says Sanibel shells are great. They were nice.
Not as good as figure eight.
Figure eight shells were. Nothing tops that. But the Sanibel shells were really nice, and the beach was pretty. There was a lot of seaweed, though. I think my mom and I both were. It was a very nice beach, but both of us were like, "This isn't quite as nice of a beach as we thought it would be," like as the rumors are, but
the rumors.
Yeah. But it was so fun though, because we didn't have a car and then it was super expensive to we didn't know this, but there's a toll to come onto the island. So if we called an Uber to take us anywhere, we'd have to pay the toll because they'd have to come onto the island. And anyway, so we didn't really do that, but we walked like 5 miles. It was a lot of fun though. We walked 5 miles to the grocery store and we got a couple of groceries and stuff. And then we did call an Uber to take us back. And then another day we walked like 3 miles to a restaurant. Whew. So we got a lot of good exercise. It was a lot of fun.
Part of the experience though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because we got to see the town and we stopped as we walked this distance. We stopped at like a seashell shop and like all these different little shops and got stuff. It was just really, really fun. And it was really fun. Mom and I walked through some neighborhoods and like looked at these houses because some were huge and some were not. And there was one house that had a manatee mailbox.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was just cute. So anyway, it was
I figured if you lived there, you'd have that.
Yeah, I probably would.
Or like a seal. Some sort of like...
I like manatee. I think that would be cute.
That's cute.
But anyway, it was a really good trip. It was a really fun, even though we ran into some hiccups, but it was a really fun trip overall with my mom. So
it was nice to... Sorry, you have facts to read. I was just going to say while you're pulling those up, it was nice to hear this from you right now. Because the last time I asked about it was when you was fresh on your minds and you were mainly talking about the bad stuff.
Well, we were frustrated.
So it's nice to hear it again and hear the good stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so just this is from mustdo.com. Just some facts about Sanibel. Captiva and Fort Myers are also in that same area. So more than half of Sanibel is half the island. The other half is called Captiva. Captiva. Yeah.
Isn't that like a water? It sounds like a water. Captiva.
I don't know. I don't think so. More than half of Sanibel and Captiva Islands are dedicated to wildlife, refuges, and nature preserves. They are home to 230 types of birds, 250 different shells, and 50 species of native fish.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's a lot for
a
generally small area.
I know. And then Fort Myers is, I think, on the mainland, but it has the highest number of sunshine hours in the whole state of Florida, even more than Miami and Key West.
Huh.
but it's really close. Fort Myers is like super close to it. So
Right. I know the general location then because I know where Fort Myers is at.
And then one other thing, we walked on the beach. So we were staying on one side of the island, and the lighthouse was on the other side, and you could see it in the distance. And we thought it was closer than it was, but we walked the whole way there. But we walked so long.
Were you expecting to get up to it or something?
We did get up to it.
Oh, but it looked closer.
Yeah, it looked closer. We didn't realize how far
Big it was,
down
probably, too.
the island it was.
Yeah.
But we walked there, but we walked so long that the tops of our feet started getting like chafed or whatever from the sand and the water and stuff because we walked that long of a distance.
Yeah.
So that's what it would feel like to be a pirate, I guess.
You heard it from Steph. Getting chafed feet. Arr, matey! I
Anyway.
got chafes on my feet.
Okay, so
That's what a pirate life is like. How bad do they have it? Chafed feet.
I know.
Uh-oh.
I know.
That's how bad it was. That's funny.
That was funny. That was very funny.
Thanks.
See, I complimented you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, that's 2 out of 30-some episodes.
Okay, so what's your number one? Do you want me to guess? Do you want me to take a guess?
I bet you won't guess it, but if you do, I'm going to come over there while we're live and kiss you on the cheek. On the pod, and I'm not going to edit it out. Just a little. Mwah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I just don't know. I think I've said everything you know that I did.
Do I not know you did this?
I've told you this at one point, yeah. Maybe twice. Want me to give you a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint.
I went with friends on this vacation. In fact, that's the biggest reason why it became my number one.
Was it the trip that you took with Gella and Dave to Florida?
No, that's an honorable mention. I don't really consider that much of a vacation because it was just a quick 3-day trip.
Well, okay.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I guessed that. So yeah.
My number 2, I'll start with the vacation itself, the place. Disney World with the boys.
Oh.
So in our earlier 20s, we went to Disney World, just me and the boys. And it was all put together by our dear friend Justin. He's kind of like the motherly figure of the group. He takes care of us. And he put this whole thing together because we're the kind of guys that we'd hang out every week. You know, we'd have these game nights, we'd drink, play games, hang out, whatever. We were the boys, right? Weston is in this group, by the way, for those of you who know. Magic Man Mo, Weston, Profoundist, check it out. And that's our podcast. Steph's looking at me just with her dead eyes. Just she's so mad. I'm plugging the other podcast.
They have a good podcast.
Thank you. This one is special to me though. Like
I'm sure you say that to him too. So.
Is that what you tell Weston? But anyway, he's a part of that group, and then a few other basically lifelong friends too. And what was special about it, first off, was that it actually happened. So we always talked about going on trips before, once we turned 21. The funny thing, and they'll all remember the story, at least if I, like, this is true. There was 5 or 6 of us, I think 6, and it was either Vegas, we waited till we were 21, Vegas or Disney. 2 very different places, right? I think it was just me, maybe one other person, who voted for Vegas. So guess what the vote ended up being? Disney. So I thought, I'm going to be with my friends. It's going to be fun. Who cares? I've already been to Disney before that. I was to Disney twice already before that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already familiar with
Disney World.
Disney World in Florida.
Okay.
We ended up going and had such a great time, and I do not regret that it was Disney World instead of Vegas. We had so much fun. Downtown Disney, so much fun. And I never did that before, but just you can get drinks. That's the part of the park where you can drink. So you can like walk around, see the water, listen to the music. We also briefly, we didn't like full on do it, but you can do what's called drinking around the world. Remember, we were like young, we drank a lot more then. And at least I did.
Well, that's an Epcot, right?
That's an Epcot. So like you can go to like these different restaurants like that are all represent different parts of the world and get a drink. And I think there's actually like a program you can do to actually do it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a Disney World freak, so I don't know. But we went to a few different places. I remember one of the places in particular was a German place, German restaurant, and it was set up like a real German restaurant. So in Germany, like your typical public restaurant, you sit with strangers. It's just one.
Oh.
It's just like a big table with a bunch of strangers. So it's not like divided tables. You all sit together. So they had it set up like that, and they warned you as you walked in, just letting you know you're going to sit with strangers. It's for keeping very authentic to German tradition with public restaurants. So that was interesting. But anyway, just in general, there were so many laughs, so much fun. It was a great hoorah with all of the buddies together. Some of us are in one room, some of us were in the other, and we stayed at the park. In one of the hotels at the park.
Wow. Okay. I bet that was extra fun.
It was, because we didn't ever have to go anywhere. We were just there.
Yeah.
And then there was this big as a part of our package, we could get free breakfast every morning at the maybe dinner too. I could be wrong. Justin, if you're listening, correct me, because you'll probably remember, because you put this whole thing together. I know we got free breakfast every morning, as much as you want. Just go through, and there was all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Which was great too. And once again, it's just the magic of Disney. So we went to all the parks together, just a great experience with friends.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, but I also had great times the previous times I went to, but not quite the same.
That's a good number one.
It was so great. We're actually planning, now that we're all getting close to 30, we're planning our Vegas trip now. Now that we're a little older, a little wiser,
oh, okay.
We're going to do our Vegas trip. Anyway, so maybe if you do an update on this episode, I can talk about that trip. So, some things about Disney. We all know Disney World's huge. So this is from OrlandoFlorida.net. 30,500 acres. That's the size of the park. It's the same size as San Francisco, the city.
No.
That's how big Disney World is in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, the Magic Kingdom itself is the size of the entire Disneyland that you went to.
Oh my gosh.
That's how much bigger
I didn't realize
Disney World is, yeah. So the giant thing at Epcot, you know what we're talking about, the big ball.
Yeah.
The 180-foot tall Spaceship Earth is what it's called. At the entrance to Epcot weighs approximately 16 million pounds.
Oh my gosh.
That is so heavy. 16 million pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Final thing here.
What does it sit on? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Like, how does it hold, whatever it is, how does it hold that much weight?
That's a ton of weight. It's probably just on the ground.
Yeah, but it's a ball. I guess it's flat. I don't know.
Isn't that heavy?
That's weird.
Final thing here is the design of Main Street USA at Disney World was loosely based off of Walt Disney's hometown in Marceline, Missouri.
Oh, how interesting.
He was a Missouri boy. I knew that. Anyway, that's my number one, Disney World.
Aw.
Good times with friends.
That's a good number one.
You've been.
Yes.
Can't remember when you've been.
I went when I was young, and then I went again as a band trip in high school.
Okay. Right. That was one of my 2 visits, was a band trip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that was really fantastic, and I'm glad you had so much fun.
Yeah, it was a really great time. That's why we were wanting to, not quite a decade later, we're gonna do another boys trip.
Do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
It'll be fun.
So my number one.
Take it away, Steph. Closing it out. What do you got? Can I guess?
Yeah.
Hawaii! Woohoo! Do 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 do.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. You're right.
Yeah, at the beginning of the pod, you were like, well, I guess it could be. Have to wait and see. And it's like, Steph, that just gives it away.
What do you want me to say? No, it's not. I'm not going to lie like somebody.
Yeah, like me.
Okay. So, yes, my number one is Hawaii. So I took a trip in 2018 with my mom and my Nana and my great aunt and great uncle. So it's my Nana's sister and then her husband. So it was the 5 of us.
Just the 5 of us.
And we flew into Oahu. We stayed on that main island the whole time. I wanted to go to Maui and go to some other places, but we just didn't. It just wasn't in the itinerary to do.
Just wasn't in the cards.
It just wasn't. But just totally fine because there's more than enough to do on Oahu. So we stayed in this really nice resort because my great uncle was in the military, and so he had like military discounts and stuff. And so we stayed at this really nice resort. There was, I mean, gosh, it was beautiful. I mean, there was like a big willow-ish kind of tree in the, I can't even explain it. It's like the resort was sort of round, and there was a circle in the middle that was like ground and ponds and stuff. And it was this huge tree that at night it was lit up, and there were restaurants in the resort, not in the tree. And then there was like a little shopping place, and I got a couple of things from Hawaii there. And we walked around. We went to the beach. I took surfing lessons.
Yep.
We drove out and we ate at like one of the like shrimp trucks.
Shrimp truck?
Yeah, like it's a thing there where like they have like food trucks, but they have seafood, like fresh seafood and stuff that they catch. And
Yum.
yeah, so it was really good. And then my mom and I went zip lining, and it was with Climbworks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah. And we did that, and it was so much fun. I think they had a line that was like a mile or 2 miles long or something. It's
Oh my
one of the
gosh.
longest ones. So much fun. My poor mom, she was so scared. She was shaking when we started, and then by the end, she loved it.
Was the video I saw of that here in town, or is that in Hawaii? There's a video you have.
I have two
of
videos.
her freaking out about it.
That was the one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is probably not nearly as good.
No, but we did that one first, and then
Okay.
we did the Hawaii one the
That's
next
funny.
year. So we did that. Surfing lessons was a ton of fun, and we walked around and we did some shopping. But we went, it was on Mother's Day while we were there, and we went and had like a Mother's Day brunch for her and my Nana and my great aunt. And that was so much fun. Oh gosh, it was great. So
You speak so fondly of it, like it was a dream almost.
it was. It was so beautiful, and the weather was so nice, and we did such fun things. And I'll say when I go back, I would like to visit Maui and some of the other islands and go to all the different color sand beaches. They have
Say it again, it lost you again.
I'd like to go to
Sand what?
sand beaches, like
That's
the
the part we
different
didn't hear.
color sand beaches. So like there's a green sand and a pink sand and a black sand, and because of different stuff, right? But I want to go to those places.
Well, then maybe you and I can go.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I want to go back really bad. Anyway, I think I could live there. Like I could get into that Hawaii living,
I'm sure you could.
you know?
I see that.
I could do it. So some facts about Hawaii. It says MauiAccommodations.com. Surfing was invented in Hawaii.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And
Surprise, surprise.
I know. You can mail a coconut from there. Like, you don't have to wrap it or box it. You just mail the coconut with the address on it.
What?
You can paint pictures on it and, like, write a message on it, and then you just mail it.
Wow.
Yeah. But it has to be in, like, a more dried husk, not like a
Yeah.
fresh coconut.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With no packaging?
No, you can just mail it.
I guess it is Hawaii.
Yeah.
But like it's still the United States, so like it has to follow, I guess, federal guidelines. But I guess there's an exception in Hawaii. Interesting.
I guess. They have VOG instead of smog. So island skies are unpolluted for the most part. There's no smog, but they do have VOG, which is volcanic haze from the volcano that's been erupting on and off since 1983 on Oahu, or the island of Hawaii, which is the big island.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just some fun facts about that.
It looks beautiful. I'd love to visit someday. Never been there. Hawaii, I always forget though, is U.S. territory. I always see Hawaii as like its own beautiful place.
No, it's U.S. Yeah.
I know, but like I always forget that. And I could be wrong. Is Hawaii the last founded state?
It was either that or Alaska. I don't remember which one.
But it's one of those, I mean, it was like in the 30s or 40s.
Yeah,
or something.
49 or 50.
Wow, you're pretty close. How do you know that?
I don't know. No, I didn't look it up, but let me look it up now.
Find that out. Yeah, I just remember you telling me about how much you loved Hawaii. I remember like the first time I visited your house, I saw pictures of it. This is years ago now, and there's a picture of you surfing, and you look so happy.
Oh, I was happy. Hawaii was the 50th state.
Okay, what year?
1959.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what's wild? This is weird to think about. When both of our dads were alive, we had 49 states in the United States.
No. What?
Isn't that weird to think about?
Oh, that's really weird.
When my dad and your dad were born.
We need to ask them and be like, how did it feel?
I mean, they were like 5.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm just saying our dads are close in age. Your dad's a little older. But, like, isn't that wild? Like,
Yeah.
they were born in a time where we had 49 states.
Yeah, that's weird.
Really quick, see when Alaska was founded. I'm just curious. Like, how long was there a span of... That's so weird. I just feel like forever we've had 50 states. I know it doesn't work like that. But gosh, like...
1959, I think.
Same year.
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
So we had 48
Yeah.
states.
So January 3rd, 1959 for Alaska. And let me see if it was the same day.
When Elvis
August. Hawaii was August 21st, 1959.
So when Elvis was like, I was about to say when Elvis was president. That was weird to say. But when Elvis was like, he already hit the scene. He was famous in the United States. We had 48 states.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That's weird.
It's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's weird. Like now the kids don't think Pluto's a planet.
Didn't it bounce back though?
I don't know. But
we had 9 planets.
But when we were kids, we had Pluto. And now.
But then it wasn't, because remember Psych, one of our the few shows we both liked together is like Pluto. What about that, right? Remember that was Gus's thing? I was talking about Pluto, like, you about Pluto? But now it's considered like a planet again, I thought.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's another planet now they add to the list. I don't know.
Whatever. Point is, we always discover new things. We discover new things. Things are changing. Or we discover things. It's not that things change as much as we discover stuff.
Yeah.
I guess things change too. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. Let me give my honorable mentions really quick, and we'll wrap this up because lucky you, listener, we're running about 90 minutes today.
Woo!
Little extra Alex and Steph this weekend. My honorable mentions are as follows. I'll just do quick things. Indiana Beach, a trip I took with my dad. Just him and I. It was a father-son trip, and it meant a lot to me at the time.
At the time, it still means a lot to you, right?
Yeah, yes. It was just it was a good bonding thing when we were kids.
Oh, okay.
Or when I was a kid.
Okay.
We went to this place on Indiana Beach. That's where I first faced my fear of heights. Because through the park, there's like, at least there used to be like this line you could like sit, and you on this line that was above the park, and you could like look around the whole park in Indiana Beach.
Wow.
And we took a picture together, and it was put on a shirt, and we both had the shirts.
Oh, do you still have it?
I don't think I have mine anymore.
Oh,
my dad still has his.
So
that made me feel all tingly. Maybe he has it too. Actually,
he might have it. Yeah,
because it started to fade and stuff.
Oh, yeah, he might have pulled it aside and just kept it.
I need to ask him if he still got that. The Michigan sand dunes. We went up to visit our family in Michigan. I've told you about these sand dunes. I don't know what part of Michigan they are. I know that at the time, our family, it was my dad's brothers, they lived near Detroit. I don't think the sand dunes are near there, but we drove across, I think, to the west side, maybe? Michigan people, let me know. Weber, you might know. Tell me where the sand dunes were, because I remember I have these memories of being in these giant sand dunes in Michigan. That was fun. Hot Springs, our trip together.
Mm-hmm.
I consider that a small mini vacation. We had fun. We mountain biked. We went downtown. Hot Springs, Arkansas is a fun little town. Galveston, Texas. That's honorable mention. You are all over this, honey, with me. Ohio, West Virginia / Amish country in northern Ohio.
Aww.
Our trip there was really fun. To Amish country.
Honestly, I thought that one would make the list.
For me or for you?
For you.
Why?
Because you talk about how that one particular night when we're watching that game show, you were like, "That's my favorite night."
That's one of my favorite nights with you and your family.
Yeah,
ever.
I thought it would make the list.
It really is may be my favorite night with your family. Branson, Missouri, fun town to visit for a weekend. Went there with my dad again. And then Herman, Missouri. I still want to take you there. Super fun, touristy, wine country sort of little town. And the town froze in 1910 rural town. And people dress up still like it's that time. But you can go there. It's hilly and you can drink wine. And it's just a really nice place.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to take you there. So what are your honorable mentions?
Okay. So I have also Galveston, which was the beach trip with friends that we did last year.
Yeah, it was the year after Figure Eight. Just wasn't the beach. It
was just more oily there. Also had Hot Springs because we mountain biked and walked.
Which was super fun.
That was so fun. And we walked around downtown. It was a lot of fun. I also have Little Rock, even though it was just a day trip.
Oh, yeah.
I liked.
We need to go hiking again, by the way.
I know, but that was really fun. We went hiking together, just the two of us, and it was a lot of fun.
Tacos were great, by the way. And the breakfast was great.
It was all
the brunch
good.
Place.
Yeah, it was all good. We had that was a really great trip. Southern Illinois hiking with your dad.
Wakanda.
And that was fun. I loved that. That was a fun trip, even though I hurt my back. It was so fun.
We need to do we're going to do another one this year with them.
That sounds fun. And then also Colorado, when I visited my friend Casey, I took a trip there to visit her last year sometime. And it was tons of fun. We went ziplining and we went to different parts sort of around Colorado. And I played, quote unquote, played softball for the very first time.
I remember hearing about that.
I was the umpire, however you say it. I don't even know how to say it.
It's a you.
But I did a couple things and then it started raining and the game was rained out. So anyway, and then my other on here is Phoenix / Sedona / Grand Canyon, but Phoenix twice. So Sedona, Grand Canyon, and Phoenix. Well, I guess it's just Grand Canyon and Sedona first and then Phoenix. But we went there. My mom and I went there to visit my great aunt and great uncle. We went to Sedona and looked at the Red Rocks, and we also went to the Grand Canyon.
I'd love to visit that.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I love that trip. And then my mom, next month for my mom's birthday, we went back to Phoenix for a Maroon 5 concert. And so that was a lot of fun because we walked around and we had sushi every day. We stayed in a really nice hotel. It was really, and that was one of the first trips I planned completely by myself because I just covered everything like it was for her birthday and I just planned it all. So I think it was one of the first ones that I just fully planned and executed fully on my own with no input from anybody else. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So those were my honorable mentions.
Well, that sounds great. I'd love to visit that way in general. Wow. So look at that. Our top 5 favorite vacations. I was really anticipating yours, and I'm not disappointed.
Oh.
I love hearing your stories.
Oh, I love hearing your stories too.
So at this point, what we do is how about this? Let's give a little housekeeping things first, then we'll tell people what to do at the end here.
Okay.
So tell people where they can find us and tell us their favorite vacation places.
Yes. At the 2-Piece Pod. On Instagram and Twitter. You could also comment on YouTube, too.
Subscribe on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you could comment there or comment
there.
Anywhere.
You can answer
comment
on Spotify.
Here, comment there, comment anywhere.
Anywhere you'd like, please let us know. Also, let us know other things you would like for us to cover on the 2-Piece Podcast.
And leave us a review.
Leave us a review, all the stuff, 5 stars, anything, any little bit.
5 stars, only 5.
Goes a long way. It's weighted reviews, so you got to pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. I'm just kidding, but we do appreciate you listen wherever you are. We really do. So I was gonna say something and then I I forgot right at the end there. We're about to draw a name from a hat, but I want to make sure. If you let us know what your favorite vacation places are, we read them on the next episode. So feel free to let us know. We'll give you a little shout out there. Anyway, that's all for now.
Nobody let us know their favorite liquids?
No one let us know their favorite liquids.
Well,
surprise,
that's sad.
surprise. I know.
That's sad. Oh. Well, hopefully favorite vacations will make the list. Okay, well, we need to pick the next topic.
We've overstayed our welcome, Steph. Let's get the heck out of here.
I'm pretty hungry.
I'm hungry too.
My stomach's growling.
Here we go. Go and give me the drum roll.
You ready?
Yes. Top 5 favorite Disney Channel shows.
Oh, you're going to be fantastic at this one.
I don't watch Disney Channel.
Yeah, but you've made all those medleys. So you're like more up to speed.
I mean, I definitely have my favorites. They might be similar. I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
You watched Disney Channel when you were younger.
Yeah. But you just seen stuff more recently is all I mean.
I think we'll have fun.
That'll be
with this.
fun. I like that one.
Disney Channel show. Stick around. We'll see you guys next time on the Two Piece
Pod.
Podcast. Wow, what was that? The Two Piece Pod.
I was trying to say it at the same time.
How about this? I'm going to say we'll see you on, and then you say the Two Piece Podcast, and then we'll both say bye. Ready?
Okay.
We'll see you next time on
The Two Piece Podcast.
Bye.